morning, the Giants ended up firing their head coach, Brian Dable. And so we're going to get to the game itself first. And for the audio-only listeners, Jaevon is creeping up on the screen, and his face was occupying like 60% of the screen right there. I might have to go back and screenshot.
Well, I say, if we're going to do the big ones, Todd, you can't do the creep up. If we're going to do the small screen, brother, people are going to watch this and be like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, so the reason why we are in the vertical screen right now, vertical thirds, is because I noticed with our Instagram stream that when we had it in boxes like we usually do with the backdrop and everything, then it puts us in verticals on the Instagram stream. And it doesn't look as good on the Instagram stream in the verticals, but it looks better with us in the vertical thirds on computer and whatever streaming device you might use. But then if you guys were to check out the Instagram stream right now, it has us in the full boxes. So Jaevon, like right now when you were just creeping up on the vertical stream on YouTube and whatever streaming devices people use, you were center of the screen. But then Jaevon, when you were doing that on the Instagram stream, you're like the top half of your face was cut off, and it looked pretty funny. But anyways, we're trying out new technology here with StreamYard. But the overall point is the Bears beat the Giants 24-20. Jaevon is feeling quite good about himself and the Chicago Bears and his guy, Caleb Williams. I wasn't able to make it for last week's podcast, but I was listening, and I heard you guys going back and forth about Caleb Williams and Jaevon saying, oh, top 15. And Kevin, you brought up, oh, you said that 3 years ago. Like, it's taken this long for him to actually like enter that conversation, whether if it's even in a debate. But Jaevon, before I toss it to you first, because this is your guy, being Caleb Williams, I just wanted to put a meme on the screen that I've had this one bookmarked for a while, but I've been waiting for the right moment. As Caleb Williams, you know, he's just a cool guy. He's just casual. He's just a cool guy, and he's feeling quite good about himself. With I believe off memory, the Bears are now 6-3. Oh, I got you. Well, anyways, point being, Bears win. Giants fire their coach. But before we get to the Daboll firing, Jaevon, what was your reaction to the Bears beating the Giants 24-20?
Caleb, the coach killer? Gets guys fired. Hey, Kevin, I just want to let you know, I wasn't wrong. I was just early. I wasn't wrong about Caleb. I was just early on him.
Toddy, I know we're trying to get out of here early for Shaun, but I guarantee you Shaun and I could both name 15 better quarterbacks.
Okay, let's just put this here. The Bears are 6-3. You're a stats guy. It's stats over politics. The Bears are tied for first place in the NFC North today.
You're welcome.
There's just somebody on this podcast, you know, he said that the Bears would win their division. Called me a madman. Said I was insane. I don't know ball. I don't know what I'm talking about. But there's just somebody on this podcast that predicted for this to happen. And it's happening. Now, that might be year 2 Caleb, Ben Johnson. I do think Ben Johnson does play a big role into his success because he needed a guy that was going to grab him by the reins and just say, hey, this is what we're going to do. It's not going to be pretty at first, but we're going to get guys to buy in and we're going to believe. After every game, Ben Johnson goes into the locker room, his speeches, he said, we don't apologize for winning. Doesn't matter how we do it. Doesn't matter how we get the win. We're not going to apologize for how we're going to win. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. I think this Bears team, now albeit, I get it. People are going to pull up they're going to pull up that schedule on me and be like, are you talking about these Bears? The Raiders, the Saints, the Giants. Like, you were down, you're 2-7 Giants, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, 4 fourth quarter comebacks. I mean,
Caleb, can we talk about the clutch factor? A lot of guys were folding in that situation. I saw a guy who was MVP of the league last year that got blown out by the Dolphins. 31-13. Gotta beat the teams that are on your schedule. Now, Caleb keeps playing like this. He had 2 total touchdowns, 220 yards passing, 20 and 36. Didn't have a good start, but he had a great finish. Won them the game. Another game-winning drive. Caleb Williams, top 15 quarterback in the NFL. God's balling, man. Now he's got a schedule ahead of him. This is where people are starting to figure out if you're feast or famine. They're gonna be all right. You got the Packers twice. You got the Vikings mixed in there. There's a little bit of Lions, a lot of divisional games.
Niners, Eagles.
Niners in the game. You're gonna see what you're made of.
You see them crumble.
You're gonna see a lot. You're gonna see the next half of this schedule. You're gonna see what this Bears team is made of. And I'm gonna hold firm on my statement about Caleb being top 15 quarterback, and the Bears are gonna win the division. That's just me. They got a little bit of a cushion with a 6-3 record, so they're gonna drop some of these games. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're gonna battle. They're gonna fight. They're not gonna go 7-0, 6-0, whatever the rest of their schedule is. They're not gonna go undefeated. However, I think the Bears are gonna make the playoffs. Now, I said that they were going to win their division, so that is implying that they will make the playoffs. So, I mean, I'm not trying to, have to spell it out for you, but I mean, this is kind of what it's looking like. This is what they're trending towards. This is what Ben Johnson's capable of. This is what Caleb Williams is capable of. This is a solid team, man. This is a solid football team. I get it. People are going to talk. They're going to look at the schedule and be like, same guys. I mean, my son, my 1-year-old son can play the schedule and win 5-6 games.
Barely beat Joe Flacco.
They're on put
Marcus Mariota
the wire with Joe Flacco.
Geno Smith.
The only thing I am very concerned about this team is that Bears defense is so inconsistent on when it wants to play good and when it wants to kind of just, we'll just let you gash us for 80 yards drive or 70. Go drive down the field whenever you want. So the Bears team is geared up for a playoff run. Don't let the Bears get into the playoffs. And Caleb, this is a dangerous team. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, Kevin. Now's your opportunity to channel Gary and be your best devil's advocate, even though I know it's not going to be too hard when it comes to this Caleb Williams discussion.
It's not. He's okay. You beat Marcus Mariota by 1. You beat Geno Smith by 1.
Hater.
You beat Joe Flacco by 5, and you beat Jackson Dart by 4. The Eagles, you guys lost to Jackson Dart. We beat him. I think the second game was more of a. I think the first game was more of a jinx or an odd game because the second game we just beat him, belt to ass. But I mean, hey, Caleb Williams did his thing. I'm happy Roma Dunze's dad came out there and said some shit because, hey, Roma Dunze got the ball first play. What did he say after the game? He said, thanks, Dad. So, Johnson making this team what they are.
Works.
Trolling works. Ben Johnson said, you're my number one guy, and we're going to make sure you get the ball. But what I want to come on here and really talk about now that we've gotten all that Bears nonsense out of the way, Brian Daboll didn't deserve to get fired. This is malpractice as an organization. You make the playoffs, you sign Daniel Jones, you trade Daniel Jones, you let Saquon Barkley walk out the door next year, Offensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl champion. You let Xavier McKinney go next year, All-Pro. It's becoming the thing to say, once you leave the Giants, you flourish. And why is that? I get it. The bottom feeders of the NFC East. Every team's getting better and better and better. This team was competing with Russell Wilson in the game. Jackson Dart has given this team life. Cam Scatterboo has given this team life. And I was telling a couple of my friends before the season, Jackson Dart's performance will either save Brian Daboll's job or get him fired. Brian Daboll has been a coach in the NFL because he said, you're a 6'6" quarterback and you run really fast and throw the ball 80 yards? Josh Allen, I think you might be good. Let me go ahead and attach my name to that. We all knew he was going to be good. He was drafted high for a reason. This defense is abysmal. They're giving up 30 plus points a night. So as much as you want to say Brian Daboll is the main factor in this equation, they're going to let him go and they're still going to lose games. If Malik Neighbors and Cam Scatterboo were out there, they look a lot different because Darius Slayton was making play after play after play after play. Theo Johnson making play after play after play. Abdul Carter, Kevon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, they have the pieces. I mean, it's hard when your field is cursed. I mean, Malik Neighbors, we were having conversations about him being a top 10 quarterback or receiver last year. So, I mean, they have the weapons, they have the guys. In my opinion, they gave Jackson Dart the keys too late. In a situation like this, you trade up to get a guy, you're putting your name attached to him. He is going to either save my job or lose me my job. He should have been out there from day one because they were starting off really good, and I get it. Russell Wilson was leading the NFL in passing yards for a hot minute. Jackson Dart is the guy. You chose him to be the guy. He needs to be the guy. We saw the Saints give Tyler Shucks the role. You got to get if you're going to attach your name to him, you have to give him the job from day one. And if this team was healthy, do I think it looks any different? Probably not. But this was a team that had a lead until 3 minutes to go against the top 15 quarterback, a playoff team. You know what I mean? So if we hold Caleb Williams and the Bears into that kind of tier, on the other side of the coin, shouldn't we give the Giants the respect they deserve? So I don't think they should have done it. And I am terrified to see who they bring in to be their head coach because they have a lot of weapons there. And if they can get the right kind of coach, we saw the Brian Johnson, not Brian Johnson, excuse me, the Ben Johnson effect. We saw we see Dan Campbell. We see the Texans Shane Steichen. Like, if you get a good head coach and the guy that's going to get this locker room to rally, this team could be good. And you look at this team and say, as a Giants fan, as an Eagles fan, but if I were to be a Giants fan, this was the best 3-4 run years we've had since Eli. We went to the playoffs. We went to Minnesota and beat Minnesota. When are they going to make the playoffs again? So Brian Daboll will definitely be a coach again. It just kind of sucks to see. And if you would have had a betting odds that he would be the first coach fired, it wouldn't be Brian Daboll. But Mike McDaniel still has a job. So I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised by the timing of the firing too, because I thought if the Giants were going to fire Brian Daboll, that it would have been at the end of the season. But for them to do it midway, especially after both of those significant injuries to their young stars that you mentioned, Kevin, between Neighbors and Scadaboo, it really shocked me. And I thought that Jackson Dart was going to be the one who saved his job. And Jackson Dart has played well enough that I thought he would have saved the job, but apparently not. And as I said to our group chat earlier, it seems like John Mara, the owner of the Giants, he just got impatient when it came to Brian Daboll, that he was just like, I've seen enough. We're going to fire him at the end of the season. Just let him go now. But it's like, what are you going to accomplish over the rest of the season? Like, to me, that's a move that they had already decided no matter what happens for the rest of the season, he's gone. And so why wait for the inevitable when they could just do it now? But Jaevon, did you have a reaction to the Giants firing their head coach Brian Daboll today?
Yeah, I thought it was a little premature. You look at the personnel that they have, Jackson Dart providing the spark that Giants team needed after Daniel Jones obviously leaves, and just having a new flame, just new rejuvenation around the team. You could see that he kind of galvanizes everybody on that team with his energy, alongside with Cam Scadaboo before he had that ankle fracture. And obviously, they lose a guy in Malik Neighbors. So if you look at the cornerstone pieces of his team, it's Jackson Dart, Cam Scadaboo, and Malik Neighbors, all injured. I do think one of the knocks on Jackson Dart coming into the league, I was watching one of the Gruden's QB camps, and he kept pointing out in his tape that you have to learn how to slide. Because in the NFL, if you are going to go head up with, let's just give examples. There's guys like just Roquan Smith. There's the likes of a Fred Warner, who's obviously injured. Zach Bond. Like, if you get hit by one of these guys,
It's gonna hurt.
You're gonna get hurt. So he was preaching to him to get down. You want to be able to be available, is something that he kept saying. The best ability is availability. If you put yourself at harm's risk against one of these guys, you're going to get hurt. And that was something that he's already been in the medical tent for a concussion before. And that was when everybody was going in and checking in on him, and they got fined for doing that. And then obviously yesterday he went out with a concussion. You could question some of Brian Daboll's play calls as well, running a bunch of QB power with him. But I do think when the play breaks down, Dart is going to try and make a play at all times. And when he is able to make plays with his legs, he has to learn how to get down and slide because he's the franchise quarterback. And when he's not out there, they're pretty much fucked because I don't know if you guys saw Russell Wilson came in the game. People were like, oh, this guy.
Here we go.
This guy stinks.
People were like, please, no. Kevin, or as Shaun puts up the meme, boo this man. Yeah, so he's got to be able to learn how to protect himself at all times when he's outside of the pocket. And moving forward, I do like this team. I think their D-line is, I've kind of mentioned it before in past, their D-line, I believe, is one of the most talented D-lines in the NFL. I'm not sure about their secondary, has been in question. I love the pieces, the cornerstone pieces, Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatterboo, and Jackson Dart at the helm. I think they're going to be really good. As far as this year, they're probably going to punt on this year and get a high draft pick. They probably would have wished it would have been a year later that all of this happened because I don't know if you guys know Jeremiah Smith is coming out that year, and that receiver class as a whole is going to be loaded. So maybe a year too early on right now when it comes to drafting a wide receiver because I feel like they're another receiver away from being really, really good. But I do think this year they'll probably be able to get maybe a really, really good corner or a DB. Kev could probably pull up their just mock drafts on who the Giants would be. But I would imagine they're like top 5 right now because they're like 2-8. So, yeah. Giants fans probably got to look forward to the draft. But I think next year they'll be solid moving forward.
Yeah, my final thought on Brian Dable getting fired is it just made me think back to that Broncos game in Denver when the Giants had controlled the entire game. I think they're up 19-0 after 3 quarters, and then the Broncos score 33 points in the 4th quarter, and they go on to win that game on the same day that they were honoring Demaryius Thomas and inducting him into the Broncos Hall of Fame. And so I just think to myself, like, if the Giants hold on to win that game, Brian Daboll is very likely still the head coach of that team. Instead, now he's without a job. And it's just crazy because I think back to Brian Daboll as the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator and just how much hype he had taking over the Giants. And now here we are, 3-4 years later? And just it's amazing how quickly things can change. But that's why, that's why the NFL, as an acronym, some people say it stands for not for long because things change very quickly and goodwill changes very quickly in the NFL. And so before we move on and we get to our speedy week 10 NFL recap to close things out, I did want to bring up one more thing regarding the Bears beating the Giants because Jaevon, Grey Wolf presented 2 very good points. And so I'm going to throw the Shrek meme on the screen because I feel like this is how you're going to feel. He says the Bears' next 3 games is Vikings, Steelers, and Eagles. And then he also says, not only can the Bears potentially lead the division, but quote unquote, depending in all caps on what happens in the next 3 weeks, Bears have a slim chance of leading the conference. And so now I'll fade out the Shrek meme.
What are we doing?
He's not lying, though. I'm not. From a mathematics standpoint, he is not lying. The Eagles are what? What do you guys get? 7-2?
Yeah, top of the division, top of the conference.
Eagles are 6, or Bears are 6-3. The Bears go 3-0. They're literally leading the conference. Now, I do not think they are going to go 3-0 on that stretch. I do think they're going to go 2-1 on that stretch, though. I do think that they can beat the Vikings and they can beat the Steelers. The Eagles game, I'll probably chalk that one up. But that is something that is very, very possible. And by Thanksgiving, the Bears could be they could be leading their division, and they could be one of the top teams in the NFC. So the Bears, man, hey, I was giving the Bears a lot of love. A lot of love early in the season, a lot of love right now on the podcast. It's not crazy. Gray Wolf makes a really, really good point. Appreciate you listening, by the way.
JJ McCarthy owns Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Well, Jaevon, I'm proud of you because I really thought that you were going to end up saying that the Bears were going to go 3-0 in the next 3 weeks. But props to you. Whether
like, what's best money on it? Put 100 on it.
You know better.
Yeah, you know him all too well.